Guess what time it is, everyone? It's Mort Talks Sh time. Today, we are talking shit with my favourite heating engineer. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I've got loads of favourite heating engineers.
I am your favourite.
We have my guy, Mr. Stephen Thompson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paul. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Mate, I love it. I'm so excited for this convo, mate, because you had a pretty spectacular transformation, if I'm honest. Do you know what? I said welcome to the show there. And because of the stuff that I've done on my socials where people are giving me shit and I've said welcome to the show, I always feel like the person I'm saying it to who's like, what?
Yeah.
What? I'm stop panicking.
Going back to that what's he said about me?
What's he said about me? So, Steve, I'm excited for this conversation because what I've started doing now is I've fucked the celebrities off. Sorry, celebrities. And I've started interviewing normal blokes doing extraordinary shit. Like doing abnormal shit, because what we're doing is not fucking normal.
No, and it comes. I don't know. It's almost like it gets put out there as a cult, as a thing that you shouldn't be doing. Ice baths. What are you doing?
It's so weird.
You know, one of your reels the other day. Yeah, I loved it because it was like that. You know, when you first start doing these things, especially family members, your family members are like, what are you doing, Dad? What are you doing? They're like, my wife's looking at me climbing in this little bathing garden in me shorts in ice cold freezing. Like, you are.
It'll not be long before she's doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not before and you find that some people actually get on board eventually.
Yeah, well, they do.
I've got a friend, Chris Ramsey. He's been on the friend of the show. Famous comedian, one of the top comedians in the UK, in my opinion. And his missus posted a photo of him in an ice bath just with the hashtag hypocrite. And I commented on it and said, he's turning into me.
Yeah,
he's legit turning into me. He's doing jiu-jitsu. He's doing fucking ice baths.
Doing the thing that he took piss out of.
It's mad, it's mad. Yeah. But mate, I probably did it as well. Like I've taken the piss out of all of it.
Yeah.
Journaling took the piss out of, meditation. And it's mad. I keep thinking, what am I taking the piss out of right now?
Yeah, that you're going to be doing in future.
That'll end up doing.
It's crazy that, because like the journaling, all that, when I first come into this program, we're like, journal, like what's all that about, you know? And you start doing it, and the more you do it, the more you learn about it, the more you learn that the benefits are.
And it's almost like a different, it's kind of like it needs a different name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Journaling, it's a bit...
needs it's like we need it. Do you know how we have the Blissipline?
Yeah.
People just call it Blissipline now instead of the Blissipline meditation.
Yeah.
It's like, because meditation has all these preconceived ideas about it's for hippies. You're meant to empty your mind, but we do it very differently. So let's get down to business, Steve. What was it? Where were you at that led you towards what we're doing here now? Led you towards me, if you like.
Well, I was what you call coasting. I had this business that from the outside looked like it was doing really well.
And you're a heating engineer.
And I'm a heating engineer.
Is that what you call yourself or not?
Boiler doctor.
Boiler doctor, even better. Even fucking better.
I was aircon plumbing and heating then. So and I was just... I've got an autistic son, a wife. We've been together since she was pregnant at 15. So you're really young kids, and I did the impossible of, I'll never have a trade, I'll never have this, I'll never have that. Went retrained, got my own business, and got to a point where I had that business. I had that.
Quick detour. Did you go straight into self-employment?
No, so I worked for a company straight out of college to get the qualification.
Yes. Oh, so it was like an apprenticeship or something?
Yeah, so I did an apprenticeship, but I was made a manager as an apprentice. So I was in charge of 20 blokes.
Oh, shit. When you weren't even a bloke?
When I weren't even a bloke. No, I was in the early 20s. So all these guys, like, obviously, they're all looking at me as this young kid that's come in, and basically somebody had a premature baby. There was nobody to run site. I were there. I sent all lads to the jobs. Gaffer come, was impressed and said, do you want the job?
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, I'm only 3 months in. And I took it on, run a site for 2 years, did my qualifications, and that was that. So I was always expected to run these sites. And it was massive pressure because I was home on a night, getting everything ready, prepped, no time with family, just trying to impress. You know, it was like, just do it.
You know,
do it.
That's good. That's a fucking good attitude to have, because that probably set you up for being self-employed, because most people wouldn't do that.
No.
Particularly not young lads wouldn't do that. It's like they've got the coat on at 5 to 5. 10 to 5, coat on.
Yeah, I had the blokes were taking the piss out of me at the time, so I had...
Oh, for like teacher's pet kind of shit.
Well, no, it weren't that. It was... They'd ring me from others. It was a council refurb site in Leeds we were doing, and they were like, ringing me up, can I have an elbow? Well, this cunt will drive across Leeds with an elbow for me. You know what I mean? Like, the little fitting that they'd have in the van.
Oh, like the tartan paint?
Yeah.
Well,
it worked. It was just that... I'm this young kid that's come in.
Oh, is an elbow an actual thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm telling them that their work's shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not on.
Hang on, you've said what an elbow is. You've said it's a real thing, but
It's a 90-degree bend that, that takes the pipe. Yeah,
I should probably know that. Like, if you hit the corner of it, just start crying.
That's crying. Yeah. So I'd ended up. I'd gone from that point of I'll take this on to these 20 guys that I'm running.
Yeah.
All thinking this guy can't do it.
Yeah.
I want him to fail. Almost. That's what it felt like inside. You know what I mean? It was like, but I'm just like. If somebody says I can't do something,
got a bit of fire.
I've got that bit of fire. I always have.
I
so
think
it's
as
like
a self-employed bloke,
I
think everyone's got that.
Yeah.
I think it'll get us to a certain level, especially when we're getting started. Fuck them, I'll fucking shoot.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Watch.
Yeah.
You say I can't watch me go.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I still have a little bit of that in me, do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. So it's like I've got to do it. If somebody says I can't, I've almost got to. A little bit, you know what I mean? I'm not as much. It's like...
If you think about it, right, it's quite childish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I still use it all the time. I'm like, wow, am I some kind of giant hairy baby?
Yeah. Well, it is that. And obviously I had young kids at home, and my missus was saying to me, I was on an apprentice wage at this point as well.
Shit.
So like I took a pay cut to do that. So I've got kids at home. I'm taking less money. I'm in charge of all these blokes with all this stress. My wife's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like she's like, just sack it off. Go work in a factory. Go get a normal wage and we'll be right. And I'm like, the money will come. The money will come. Yeah. The money will come. And I kept repeating it. And I had a mother-in-law on me, you know, I had my mum, you know, everybody was again. It was
security,
like, but I mean, I get it. I get, you know, I 100% get it. It was like, I'm bringing home peanuts. I went and worked. So I was doing that. And I was pizza delivering on a night.
Fucking hell.
For 50 quid a night cash in hand to make it pay, you know what I mean? And bring the money in for the family. And I'd done that. And it was like, I got to a point where once I'd qualified and I'd sort of gone through that journey, it was Steve's running the site. It was I could never just be the plumber, never just be the heating engineer, never hang the boilers on the wall. So I had headache from my boss, headache from site agents, and headache from lads, getting it from every angle all the time, and it was just driving me insane. Yeah. So I thought, well, how can I get out of it? I thought, well, I'm running a job. Yeah. So I've got the ability to clearly run a business. Yes. I'm good with people. So I had guys around. I'd always ask the questions, you know what I mean? The guys that I'd worked with in the past that had gone off and set their own business up. How do you do it? Yeah. How did you do it? What did you do? What's your marketing like? What are you doing? Yeah. And do you remember in shop windows, we used to go to a post office or something and there'd be
little posters.
Yes. Post-it notes. So you go 25 pence a week, something like that. That's how I started my business.
Shit.
So I did post-it notes. I did the whole of York, and I'd do a Saturday morning. I'd do a round and pay for a month in each one. And then I'd go every month and change it. New, and it was handwritten, local plumber looking for extra work, evening and weekends, whatever. Yeah, and I did that, and I sent a letter to every builder and hotel.
How long ago was this?
This was 12 years ago. 12 years ago, yeah. So I'd sent a letter to every builder and a hotel in York. Yeah. And I'd had a premature. Well, I hadn't had a premature baby. Sorry, I'd had Tilly. Yes. So I'd had my youngest, and we'd gone from. It was 21st of December she was born, and my boss was like, I was like, look, I want a week's maternity. I never took holiday, never took that. He's like, can't do it, Steve. And I'm like, mate, what I've done for you, like, and you won't even give me any maternity with my newborn.
Yeah, was that the straw?
That was one of them, and the next. The thing was, I said, look,
is that legal now?
Probably, yeah, probably illegal now. Like it was because it was over holiday break. So it's like, well, you've had your holiday, like you're not having maternity as well. I was like, well, whatever. Yeah. And then,
I get it. Yeah.
When I went back, I said, look, I don't want to do the running of the sites anymore. I just want to be a heating engineer, what I've trained to do. Yeah. And if you send me to one more site meeting, because I was good with people, I was going to these site meetings and being like sat with talking about nothing to do with plumbing related. It was just people. You know, and I was talking to these guys. The boss knew he was arrogant and he was rude, so he wouldn't win the work. I hated it. Weren't me. I was putting a shirt and you know, all that kind of job. Then putting my scruffs on and hitting my targets for my plumbing work. Yes. So I'd say, I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to be a heating engineer. And off I went to be into office after Christmas. And he said, Steve, you've got a site meeting. I said, There's your keys, mate, I'm off.
Really?
And I just left in that moment. My wife didn't know. Nobody knew. I just drove away, no money. I had 80 quid in bank at this point. And I knew that I was just going to set up my own business with 80 quid. I thought I'd bought a 200 quid van off my brother 6 months before that had just sat there. I thought, well, I've got my van, I've got my tools, and I'm away. And I sent them letters out to hotels, and a hotel got back in touch with me. I spent the last 80 quid on stamps, by the way. So we had
fucking hell.
We're
just talking about postage costs here.
Well, I just that 80 quid. I just bought loads of first class stamps. Sent these letters.
Do you know what I love about that, mate? Most people would spend that 80 quid on fucking getting a logo designed and all that fucking poncy bullshit that no one cares about. And you spent it on what I'm going to call direct response marketing, not fluffy fancy shit. Direct response marketing. Hey, I'm looking for some work.
And I was honest in it.
What are you saying?
I'd love that letter back. I never kept a copy, but I'd love it because I just wrote in it, look, I've worked for a company for 5 years. I'm qualified. I'm new. I'm gas safe. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm looking for customers. I've got none. Will you be my next customer?
No, mate, I absolutely love that,
And I sent them and I got a response off a hotel. And she was like, look, I'm looking at doing 9 bathrooms. And you can start whenever you like. And we're doing them one by one. So just take your time with it, whatever. How much money do you need as a deposit?
Fucking hell.
And I'm like, wow.
That was you on your way?
That was me on my way. So them 9 bathrooms, I did, all 9. And
tell you what's mad? I'm getting 9 bathrooms in our hotel now.
Yeah.
Isn't that mad?
Yeah.
Well, actually, everyone's just kicking off with each other because the rooms are brand new. I've got fucking tilers waiting on plasterers.
Yeah.
Plumbers waiting on tilers. Painters waiting on fucking fights.
And that's exactly why I don't do bathrooms anymore.
None of them give a fuck about each other either.
No.
None of them give a fuck about each other. I love it, mate. So that was you on your way.
That was me on my way, yeah. And then I got, obviously, while I was doing them 9 bathrooms, them letters paid dividends because I had other people coming to me, can you do this? Met builders. Business has changed massively since then. It's a different game now, but I don't do plumbing anymore. I don't do bathrooms. I just do the boiler side of it because that was most profitable work, And I love it. Fell out of love with plumbing because of that reason, because Harry don't want to do lights. Everybody lets you down, and it's like I can't work like that. I need to be. If it's
You're
just
kind
me,
of relying on other people, and I think part of the thing that I love about being self-employed, and the thing that I hate about being self-employed, is I'm responsible for my income.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Sure, there's other people in play, and when you've got to get it, when you have a team, you're also responsible for other people's income.
Yeah,
the thing about that, they're relying on me.
Yeah.
Which
exactly
I quite like that responsibility, but it's such a weird thing. Like when you're relying on loads of other people for you getting paid, that can be fucking challenging.
It is challenging, and stuff happens. Like
especially when you're a hustler, which you are. When you're a grafter, when you're not better, when you're not scared of hard work, when you're like, I need to get on to the next client, and they don't care. That must be frustrating as fuck. It is,
but then like what I've learned over years, because you're marketing at that level, you're marketing to that level of people. The people that are looking in them shop windows are the people that don't want to spend the money. Now it's like Facebook Marketplace kind of advertising, isn't it? I don't want to diss anyone, but like if you're marketing to the right people, them sort of people will pay the money to get that service. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I've tried to...
They'll want it fast as well.
Yeah.
Because people that pay a premium tend to
Yeah. Do you know
what I mean? That's why you pay. I mean, you don't get you don't get on to the destination any faster, but people will pay to get on the flight faster, which I'll never really get. Speedy boarding. Yeah. Speedy boarding, so you can sit there for an extra half an hour. I didn't really get that. But people will pay. You think about people that pay Prime membership. Yeah. They pay Prime so they can get the shit faster.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And I've just marketed into sort of, I don't know. I'm not scared of video or talking or, putting myself out there, and tradesmen are just terrible at it. Like I'd set up a one for all business. Well, it was a business idea that never come to fruition because I couldn't get the decent tradesmen to record videos. But it was like I've got a call answering number thing where you can press 1 for a plumber, press 2 for electrician, 3 for a plasterer, and then put it in help the aged, so they're not searching for loads of people. They can just press 3, get through to plumber, job done. Yes. And tried to market that and get these tradesmen to send a video, and I got one response out of 18 tradesmen. Yeah. It's like, it was just flopped.
And you're directing business their way.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and it was like it was a call thing. It never happened with it, but I had it set up so that when the customer rung that number, it'd say on the tradesman's phone 1 for all call, so they knew it was from that. Yeah. So that they could make sure that they actioned it straight away and they weren't fluffing, But it was one of them many things that we do as people, and you've got to try a million things to get that one thing that's right. I think anyway.
I agree. Me and people, when I'm talking to guys about ads and that, I'm like, listen, your first ad will flop, your second ad might flop.
Yeah.
What you got to use is what never flops is you're getting the data.
Yeah.
You get to see what works and what doesn't work. If you're constantly worried about whether it's going to work or not, you'll never get fucking started. So I'm just honest with people. I'm like, probably not going to work.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to burn money to start with and get no clients. But what you are going to be closer to is knowing what will work.
Yeah.
So I love it. So let's fast forward then. When did you realize that you needed some support, some help, some guidance from someone in terms of where you're at? When was that? 2019, 2021?
So, yeah, about
2021.
Was it? What was 2025?
Lockdown was 2020.
2021. So lockdown, and I've got Stevie at home that's autistic. We've obviously gone through that process of I've got my own business now. I'm coasting, as I called it then.
Yes.
So the work's coming in.
I asked you this question 20 minutes ago, didn't I?
Yeah. So works. Sorry, mate, I'm dragging it.
Dude, that was me. I jumped in because I wanted to know that part. So 2021, you're in lockdown. You're coasting.
I'm coasting. I'm coasting in business. I'm coasting in life. Yeah. I've got a prescription drug addiction. I'm taking cocodamol for massive amounts.
Is that what it was, cocodamol?
Yeah, cocodamol. It was prescribed from doctor at first, and then it just become this massive problem. And it were like, I took them to feel normal. You know what I mean? And it was like brain fog. Nothing mattered. No emotion. No. Yeah. And they did everything. I called them the magic pill. If I was tired, I had them. If I needed energy, I had them.
I'm allergic to codeine, so I get itchy as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm scratching now.
Yeah. Well, I just can't. I did just one day.
How many a day?
It was like 30, 35
Fuck me,
by the end of it.
shit.
Like the strongest ones you can get as well.
Man, and what are the side effects of that?
For me, it was just I was just brain dead almost. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was a zombie. I was just like coasting to the next level. Autopilot. Nothing meant nothing. It was just like, and I didn't want to do anything. It was almost like, shall we go here? Oh no, I'll just have some tablets and you know, then I'll just chill. Yeah. And that was how it was, and it was like, I've had enough of this. Yeah. And I come into that program as that was this big secret. And
which one?
Yours.
Which one? Which program? 19?
No, 28.
28.
28. Yeah. That was first. That was my entry point, and then I did the 90 days, and then I come in.
How long had you been seeing my stuff for before that? I'm always intrigued by this question.
Probably about 6 months.
Yeah. That's pretty fast action.
Yeah.
Mate, there's guys who've been following me for fucking 10 years. There's a guy messaged me yesterday saying, oh, mate, I just want to thank you for all your videos. His last message was in 2012. I was like, bro, you still haven't bought anything, you cheap cunt. Yeah. He actually said, I'm still not going to give you any money. No. Like, wow. So you jumped into 28. What was so you took 6 months to jump in. What were your kind of reservations about jumping in? Even though 6 months is fast. Because we all have these little fears. What if this? What were some of the things you were thinking?
It's a bit of a difficult one to remember to go back to.
Yeah.
I think it was new. It was different. It was a different way of thinking. You know, like I've got this thing that I know I need to fix, but at that point, it was like, I can't see myself not doing that.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
How is that going to work? Like, yes. And I think I was scared of just taking that first step into, I need to fix this. And I lied. Yeah. I lied entering that weren't my goal when I entered. Yeah. Like, it was my goal, personally, but I wouldn't have ever just
say something else.
Yeah, said something else. Yeah. There was no way I was coming on and admitting that.
Yeah.
Like, I've got this successful business that's doing really well, and Steve,
that's a typical man thing, I guess. Yeah. When I'm running coaching academy, I always get asked, in fact, I got asked at a comedy gig, what's the difference between coaching men and women? I was like, well, women will tend to come out and ask for help sooner. Yeah. Men take ages, and when they do, they will cover up a problem with some kind of humble brag. Yeah. They'll be like, I've got this is going amazing, but I've got this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what's smart? I do it as well. And I catch myself, I'm like, I didn't need to add that bit in.
Yeah.
Like,
just to make yourself sound that little bit.
I failed at this, but I didn't fail at this. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a mad thing, isn't it? Yeah, so that was your introduction to the world of Unstoppable was 28. Yeah. What do you like about that program?
I love the journaling.
Yeah.
So I love the journaling.
And the journaling's so basic in that program as well, isn't it? Very simple.
Actually, from that, you sent me the download thing, and I downloaded it, printed it out, and I'd used that, and I'd added extra questions in and printed my own version.
Yeah, so you put extra in anyway.
So I had extra in there anyway. But
you probably knew I was holding something back.
Yeah, but I'd never actually seen because the journal's like this thing that's like unreachable unless you're in a program. And it was like
it's the golden ticket.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before, and it was like I was excited to get that. But like in the meantime, I was like, what else can I do? The wins I focus on, gratitude, what I'm grateful for, and it was my family at the time was like, what are you doing? What the fuck's that? What is going on? Because there's such a drastic change, especially in the 90 days, because you're learning stuff that you don't know, and you only know what you know.
Yes. And the 28 days is purposefully very simple.
Yeah.
Do this, do this, do this.
Yeah, and it's easy, and it's easy to stick to.
Yeah.
And like you get that, you've changed, moving on to the 90 days, or straight out of that into 90 days, and then it's
and thanks
changed.
for noticing, I've been trying really hard.
Yeah. But you're not the man that my wife married.
Yes.
You're not the dad that the kids know. You know what I mean? It's for the better reasons.
Yes.
But it's different.
It can fuck with people.
It messes with people. So at that point, they're like, what's going on? Why?
What were some of the changes that you noticed then before? What were they noticing? What were they seeing? Because clearly there was some changes.
Yeah, more energy, up earlier on a morning. So I'm up early, full of energy, you know, so I'm like, annoying wife, excited for my day, you know. And then I'm quoting, which I don't think was the best action to do, but I'm quoting the quotes that I've learned to the family. So I'm like, have a bit of that. I've got this. Have a bit of that, you know. So it's like
that's when you end up with all the Paul Mort haters.
Yeah, exactly that. But I can understand why.
Fucking Paul Mort,
because you get it, and you're like, I want them to have it. I want them to have a bit of that. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. You know, you're pushing all these things onto them, and then it's like. Actually,
they're not. Thanks for that. I didn't ask, but
but then they're like, that's where you hit the resistance because they're like, I didn't ask for that. I don't want that. My wife still doesn't want that. She's not that person. You know what I mean?
It's like you're giving them advice that they haven't asked for. And when you do that, people feel attacked, I think, sometimes.
They
when
do,
you're giving them advice that they haven't asked for.
Yeah, and that was it. And there was a moment, and I remember walking across the field.
You're doing it from a good
kind
place.
Yeah. They don't see it as that in that moment. It's like, and it was, so we've gone from that, it's a cult, it's this, it's that, it's not, it's something that you shouldn't.
If people think it's a cult now, wait until a couple of years' time. Fuck me.
So we'd gone from that to when I'd left the program to do some different kind of style of coaching, which went great, nothing wrong with it. It's pushed my business forward, really happy with it. And I've come back, and in the process of that year, my wife and my kids are like, you need to go back to Paul Mort.
Isn't that mad?
Yeah.
Isn't that mad? What did they notice then, that time then?
Because stuff slipped. Because when you're held accountable for the things that you should be doing, it easily slips. When I ain't got a group to go back to and say, yes, I've journaled every day, or no, I ain't, it just slips and slips and slips.
Or sometimes when the conversation's just about, so I was in a program, I was in there for about 4 years, and it always used to freak me out. We'd meet up every quarter. I was a little bit boring, and people would share their wins, and some of the guys would only have business wins. And I'd share something that I'd done personally that quarter, and people were like, it got to the point where every time I went, they'd be like, Paul, you come up to the front and share all the mental shit that you've done this quarter. And there'd be business wins in there as well, but I thought you get of this thing where you also think, well, isn't everyone doing this personal shit as well, or is everybody a bit one-dimensional?
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It is, and that's what I like about this as well, because it's not just about your business. It's about you. You know what I mean? And the two separate entities, or they're put in two separate boxes, business and personal, but I believe that your business is you. So you're in a good place. Your business tends to be in a good place. You're in a shit place. So is your business.
Yeah.
You know, like...
I agree 100%.
The two...
Then you'll get... And I was thinking about this a lot this morning. I did a video because Leslie's running the Finance Friday tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think you get to a certain level where you have to... I mean, my business is still me, but I've got a fucking team of 10. Yeah. 10 people in my fucking team, which is mad.
Yeah.
And I look at it, and I'm like, I am still my business, but at some level it can survive without me for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but that's only because I have someone who isn't the business, which is like a CEO, which is my wife.
Yeah.
Now it could be anyone, but she thinks totally different than me.
Yeah.
So you do, but I do agree. So I can get away with feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Or going to Everest Base Camp for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can get away with that, but I think you're bang on, mate. I think if you feel like shit, it's actually even worse when you got a team, because you feel like shit. It's hard to run your business.
Yeah,
it's hard. But when you have a team, you come into the office with shit energy.
So does the team.
That drains everyone else.
I remember coming to first day here.
Yeah,
it was like we met on beach and we're in the sea. This
is
crazy,
the 90 day.
You pulled up in this truck onto the beach, and it was like, wow, the energy was unbelievable.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely wild. And we're getting and we're clapping, and we're the energy in the room, and then we start telling ourselves about stuff that was failed at, and you can feel it. You can feel it.
I love doing that, because I don't run that program anymore.
Right? Okay.
And I was thinking the other day, I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
What do we used to call? I can't. Massive Action Day.
Yeah, Massive
Action Day, the end of the transformation, the celebration. And for you guys listening, we do this thing where we're like, tell me where you failed. Tell me what didn't work this quarter, where you didn't keep your promises. And just people writing that down, you can feel the energy. I can't believe I'm saying this, by the way. Yeah. The energy or the vibrate. Fucking hell.
Vibration.
I've just puked in my mouth a little bit. But you can feel it in the room. The energy just shifts. And then what I do then, so I have people writing it down, and then we talk about it, and it gets even worse. Yeah. But it just goes to show that where attention goes, energy does flow. Yeah. And it's such a cool thing, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It was, I don't know, that whole day, it was just... I couldn't not sign up to the next thing, you know what I mean? It was like, it was cool. I'd achieved so much, including kicking the habit, and it through accountability met some amazing people that like live at all ends of
also mad cunts.
Yeah. But we all live like miles away, and they're closest to friends, like your brothers in these accountability groups. Yeah, and then it's like, God, I didn't know these guys 6 months ago, and they've been on more of a journey with me now than anybody I've ever been on a journey with,
Wild, isn't it?
And it's crazy, it really is.
Talk to me a little bit more about this habit then. Is that something that you've got nailed down, or do you have to keep working at it?
I have to keep working at it all the time. Yeah. It's something that's present all the time. Like, if I have to have a paracetamol, it's like...
Does it trigger it a little bit? Mate, it's mad this, because you know that video I made where I had the line of creatine at the end? I had it and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Coke.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. I said to Connor right before I did it, I said, I know when I'm going to do this, it's going to trigger something in my brain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then I drank, I got a bottle of Moretti, emptied it and put water in it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was so weird, isn't it, that?
Yeah, I've never been a drinker, me.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. No, well, I have in my teen. My mum and dad my dad's a pub singer, comedian, does gigs and all that.
Oh, does he?
Stuff, yeah. He's a body shop manager at Land Rover, but he's that's what he does. He's a pub singer.
Sings and does comedy.
Yeah, sings and does comedy. So that's probably where I get like, I'm not scared of a camera or talking or people skills from.
Yeah.
But he there was always in pubs. That was their era, I think. That was their way of communicating with each other, and like, we've got social media.
Yeah.
They didn't have that then. It was like, we'll all meet at a pub on a Friday after work, and that was their thing.
Yeah.
So I was brought up, sat on a pub table at, and I didn't want that for my kids.
Yeah.
So I drank as a teenager right through. As soon as I had kids, then it was like, right, I'm not doing that. I don't want that for my kids.
Yeah.
So I just never really...
Wasn't really your thing?
Not really my thing, you know what I mean? But then obviously I got into... There's no difference between that or the tablets or Coke or whatever your choice of thing is. They're all the same. You know, it's trying to
give me some then, because I believe that the techniques and the strategies and the tools that you need to overcome boozing or any... I'm using inverted fingers, fucking... What's his speech marks? Inverted fingers?
Yeah.
Inverted fingers. Oh, will that mean my fingers are back to front? I've got inverted fingers that point down and not up, like fucking Jeremy Beadle. So, but I believe that the strategy and the tools are the same. So what are some things that you could advise people, and this could be any habit, what are some of the things that you do to kind of keep that under control?
So I fill my day, I plan what I'm going to do in that day, because boredom means that you've got time to think about what you can do. So like, as soon as boredom it's bottle, it's tablets, it's whatever you do. So if you're busy all the time, if you've planned stuff, like last night, for instance, I took my wife and kids went to, this doesn't have to cost money. We went to York Racecourse and sat and watched a balloon blow up and lift off into the sky. It was magic. Yeah. It was amazing, but it was like...
Like a hot air balloon?
Yeah, hot air balloon, yeah. I've never seen a hot air balloon take off. It was amazing. I thought, God, I wouldn't like to
I've got a friend that has one.
Have you?
Alan Barrett. He's started a grenade.
Right.
And he's got a hot air balloon in the shape of a grenade.
Right.
But he also has a plane, a helicopter and a boat.
Right.
He has a helicopter. He has a
Did he have a
helicopter.
tank or something, that guy?
He's got a tank.
Yeah, that
he's
guy.
got a tank as well. Alan,
Yeah.
But he solely shares the Cadbury's, and now they've just been bought by the people that own Biscoff.
Right.
Which is mad. So Al's done all right. He's a class act as well.
Yeah.
So a hot air balloon. Yeah. What are some of the other things you do then?
So I ice bath, journal. So like if I'm low energy, I know that I'm at risk of like just reaching for
Me
them.
too.
Do you know
Me
what
too.
I mean?
That's when things are harder for me. It's mad. I had this realization in 2022. I was speaking at an event in Lisbon, Portugal, and there was a night out. There's a big night out for all the attendees and all the speakers, and the speakers had a VIP area with a fucking red rope around with fucking free booze. And that was the most tempted I'd been, even though I'd been to fucking Wembley and loads of football, away games and parties. And I was tempted because I was fucked.
Yeah.
I'd been on the stage loads that weekend. I felt a bit shitty, and then I was like, I just questioned why I wanted to drink so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's because I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Isn't it mad that we feel like shit and we're tired? So let's do something
that makes us feel more shit.
Makes it worse eventually. It's because the payoffs are instant.
The short
and the
term.
drawbacks don't happen until later.
Well, that's the key in it. Like you've got a short term benefit for everything you do. Otherwise you wouldn't do it, would you? But like, so the benefit is, look, I'm going to feel really chilled. It's going to feel nice, and let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
It made me feel nice. It made me feel good.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time, it's not good for anybody. You know, your kids, that feeling when your kids are tapping you on the shoulder, dad, and you're zombie scrolling on your phone or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And they feel less important than your mobile phone at that time. That is enhanced because you're in zombie mode. You don't even realise that they've said dad. I've said it 8 times.
Yeah.
Like you just feel unimportant.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I try and drive into that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like straight away, what do you want?
I love that.
It's just transformed mine and my whole family's life, you know, to a point where my daughter, Ebony, she's 19. So I got with Emma. She'd just had Ebony. So I'm like a stepdad. But I brought her up as my own.
Yes.
And Ebony was terrible at school. She hated it. Worked for her. And I've joined this program thing, and I'm doing all these things, and I'm pushing it down the throats, and I realised that was the wrong thing to do, so I just backed off. I'm like, look, I'm just going to do it.
Do your thing.
I'm just going to do it. And
row your own boat, I call it. Just row your own boat.
Yeah, and I jumped on a war room with you, and you'd said, look, it's exactly that. Like, they're not on your journey, mate. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
they don't want to get on the boat to wherever you're going to, and that's okay.
Just let
them get on their boat.
Yeah, and then, so Ebony is watching me journal, win, set goals, hit targets. I've achieved this.
Feel excited.
I've opened that opportunity. I've opened that. And she'd finished school, no GCSE. She got booted out of 3 of them. She in her world, she had nothing, you know, like, and I got home from work and my wife's like, you're going to have to go sort her out upstairs. She's like in the right state. And I'd gone up. She's bawling with tears. She's like, Dad, I'll never be nothing. I'll never do anything. And I'm like, the Paul Mort just came out of me.
Did you see what Paul Mort's thick as fucking look what he's done?
So I'm like, look, Ebony, you're looking for step 10. Let's go step 1. What do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do? She's like, well, I'd like to work in beauty. And she's like, I'm like, right, we start at step 1, then we try things. Yeah. That's step 1, we're just trying things. That's it. That's our goal.
And be okay if it doesn't work.
Yeah, be okay. And she's now, she tried a load of things. She had ups, she had downs. Yeah. She set goals. She's now got her own business with the salon. She's passed the driving test.
No way,
she earns more money than me.
No way.
It's unbelievable. But when you sit back and you let somebody follow your footsteps without pushing it down the throat, they'll do the things that you do.
The amazing analogy I've heard for that is you can either be a lighthouse or a tugboat.
Yeah.
The tugboat's always going out trying to rescue people, feels like shit, looks fucking exhausted, black steam coming out the top, angry all the time, trying to rescue people that don't want to be rescued.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've got the lighthouse who just fucking stands there and shines his light.
Yeah.
And people will either be guided in by it or turn the other way, and that's fine.
Yeah. And so now, like, I'm incredibly proud of it. It makes me emotional. You know what I mean? Because
I'm emotional.
When I look,
I didn't know this.
No. So when I look out my back door, she's got a salon at Garden now. She had a salon as a shop.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, what's the point? Well, you know, what's the point in paying all that money when we can do it in Garden? You know what I mean?
You don't. I think now more than ever, you do not need footfall.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's all social media. Like,
some of the best food you get. I mean, fucking hell, mate. This is wild. A few months ago, or it was May the 7th, me and Leslie flew to Copenhagen to go to the 3rd best restaurant in the world.
Yeah.
It's in a fucking shipping container. Not a shipping container where they used to build ships. Right. In the middle of fucking nowhere, in a shipyard. This restaurant, no one walking past. It took 2 years to get a reservation.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
And the money was, how much it was is embarrassing. I'm not even saying it. I'm not even saying it because I'll get shit.
Yeah.
And I can't, and it doesn't really matter that much. But this restaurant, The Alchemist, and it was in the middle of nowhere. And you find this all the time. Where we're going to a place next Thursday while we go to Snowdon. We're going to a restaurant that I've wanted to go to, called Eunice Air. Yeah. It's a Michelin star restaurant where they cook on fire in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
In the middle of fucking nowhere, no footfall, no people walking past. Because if you're good enough,
you don't need that.
You can market well enough online, people will come to you.
So she's like, it's like, watched me grow with my business. Who do you think she comes to when she's got a problem in her business? Yeah. You know, like, and who's been there, done it, put leaflets in shop windows and been through that process. So it's like, that create an online booking. She's like, how do I do that? You know, and like, so easy these days. Using? Calendly.
Calendly, really?
Just Calendly booking link to a Google Calendar.
I'll tell you what, check out as well, mate. Check out Booksy.
Yeah. Well, I don't use that anymore. I've got like, my software's just crazy what I've got in my business.
I just think for them, for beauty.
Yeah.
And I see this with barbers. If I can't get on my barber, other barbers pop up.
Yeah.
So you can be found a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I don't. Is it expensive? Like, did you use that for a bit?
I use Calendly for ages.
Did you use Booksy though?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Booksy's like it's what barbers use.
I think my barber uses it.
Does he?
Like, yeah. But I book with him. But yeah. So she's gone from that little timid girl crying in her bedroom to so you don't realise what you're not only impacting the guys that are on your program, the people round them guys are feeling that. That's what fills
my heart the fucking most, man. I remember when I do these theatre gigs, there's always someone comes up to me and it's fucking, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. They'll come up and they'll say, like, thanks for saving my husband's life.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I didn't do that, by the way. I just made a video and he liked it.
I
talked a bunch of what I'd been through, and then you'll get someone coming up saying, fucking hell, you saved me dad. You changed me dad's life. And I'm like, wow. Because you don't get to, and it's weird because you feel a bit big-headed when you talk about, but you don't get to see often the impact that what I'm teaching and what I'm sharing has on people's families.
No, you don't. No.
It's mad. But then I'm seeing it with my kids right now, Thursday night. So you know I'm friends with Luke O'Nine, the Sunderland captain. Yeah. And Luke has a mindset coaching program for kids, right? And my son is on these calls on Zoom every week. Right. He went to American football once a couple of Thursdays ago and he was like, Dad, he said, I quite like American football, but I have to miss me Zoom call with Luke. And I'm like, he's sitting there taking notes and everything. Normally he likes to play games and fucking... He literally comes home from school, puts his shorts on and sweats in his room.
Yeah.
That's what he does. I mean, he has he's football and he's rugby that he does.
Yeah.
Rugby season's not happening and obviously football's not every night. And when I go in there, I'm like, wow, you're sitting on Zoom. You're sitting on Zoom. You're 13 years old. When I was 13 years old, I was just trying to shag birds.
You imagine what he's doing when he's 20. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's just taking notes and he's on his Zoom. And last week was probably one of the proudest moments of my life. No shit. And this is all it was. He's quite timid and shy. Never asks for what he wants. He's compared to me and Nina, he's like a different fucking human, right? He's very quiet, very shy. Doesn't like asking for what he wants. He put his hand up on a Zoom call and asked a question.
Right.
Mate, I've got grown men in Alliance that won't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's 13, he's quiet as fuck. I was like, fucking hell. He asked Luke. Honestly, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. He asked Luke, my cardio's not very good. Can he put a program together for me? He sent him a program. I was like, wow. Honestly, I couldn't believe it when I seen it. I was like, who the fuck's this kid?
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, I'm so proud of you. He's like, what for? And I was like, I don't think he realised how big a deal it was that he got right outside of his comfort zone to just ask a question on Zoom with loads of people he doesn't know. He's fine with people that he knows, but even then he wants something from me mum and he'd be like, Dad, can you ask Nana if she'll do this? I'm like, you just ask her, and he's like, oh no, I'm not asking that.
Yeah. I get that. Like, Stevie being autistic.
Yeah.
He will not answer questions. If you go in a shop, it's like...
That's what he's like as well. Doesn't like asking.
It's like, you can't ask, but then them moments where he's put on spot.
You see them overcome something.
Yeah. And for us, like, we from primary school to secondary school with him, it was like he had to get a taxi. He's in a specialist school. He had to get a taxi to school. And we was like, he'll never do that. He'll never go in a taxi on his own. Like, he can't even leave our side. And they're like, we'll prep him. Like, we'll give him loads of prep. Like, we'll put the reps in, like, and we're like, what happened? So what school did was they ordered a taxi from his primary school to his secondary school and back with his teacher. So like on the run up to
they give him a little bit of exposure to it.
Yeah. So I'm talking 20, 30 times he did this.
Really?
Yeah. So school were brilliant with him. Like, so he went in this taxi, went to school, walked around corridor, come back into the taxi and drove home.
Yeah.
So come to the morning he was starting his secondary school, me and his mum are like, We haven't said nothing to him.
This is going to be a fucking stress fest.
It's not happening. It's not. He's not going to do it.
You're bracing yourself for a fight.
Uniform comes on.
Yeah.
He walks out. I'm emotional seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, I can just see it now. But he's like, goes off to the taxi.
Were you still bracing yourself on the turn round?
And he just gets in.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, with enough prep, he can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, with enough, put the reps in, just keep doing, keep digging, just keep going.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you sort of cover it up.
You know what I found out last week? Repetition in French means rehearsal. How cool is that?
Yeah, that is.
Le répétition.
Yeah.
I passed French, didn't I? Yeah. Le répétition is that means rehearsal in French. So they've rehearsed it.
Yeah. And that's all it takes, isn't it? Like, you just, you know, the first time you do something's always scary, isn't it? It's always like, you know, but whereas I'm like, I ended up off the 90 days. When I joined Alliance, I ended up doing like a men's mental health walk and talk thing. That's like one of my proudest moments. And it worked for me. I'm great with people.
Yeah.
And I'd speak to customers. It was. I was talking to customers, and they went from guys, especially when everybody had to work at home. They went from being these chatty, bubbly guys that I'd worked for last year, because a lot of my works once a year I'll go back service the boiler. Yeah. So I'd met these people, and I could, you know, I'll be chatting to them. And then I'd go the following year, and it was like dead. But it was obvious. Like,
really,
every job I went to. But bear in mind, they're on the computer, sat at home, in their office. They go to the kitchen for dinner.
A lot of people drank more.
Yeah, they drank a lot more. Then they sat at a desk again, typing. No interaction with people. And over a period of time, it got lost. And I was like, I was noticing it more and more. And I was thinking, is this a thing? Is this happening? Do you know what I mean? Is this a real thing? And so I set up this men's walk and talk group. I called it, look, guys, just get out of your house. Yeah. Come to this field, meet me, and we'll walk around field and we'll go home.
Come to this field. Sounds so weird.
Well, yeah, it sounds a bit
Come
weird.
to this field and get in the fucking van.
Get in. I've got the boiler doctor then, so I'm like, I've got big boiler doctor van.
So they can see it.
Yeah, so you can see it. You can't miss it. If I'm stood there on my own, don't be embarrassed, just come.
Yes.
I said, because I'm embarrassed, I'm there on my own. Do you know what I mean?
Because it feels weird.
Yeah, it feels weird. It was new to me as well. I was like, I just wanted these guys to meet and build relationships and do things that guys do, you know? And then I'd gone, it went mad. It went like, in my local town, it was like all over Facebook. Everybody was talking about it. It was getting loads of inboxes from women. Oh, my brother would love this. My husband would love this. Never a bloke. Yeah. Always the women that had pushed the blokes.
I get that quite often, you know. What prices have you got? It's not for me, it's for my husband. I'm like, I'm not telling you. Yeah. Tell him the messages.
Yeah.
Oh, no, well, I just want to find out from him. I'm like, no, he needs to come to me.
Yeah.
Because
it won't happen. It won't happen.
You've pushed it onto him.
Yeah. And like that's saying, exactly what happened.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. So, like, all these women had messaged me. It was mad all over Facebook. Yeah. Blokes were messaging me as well, saying I'll come.
Yeah.
And I got there. It was 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night or whatever. I thought I'll do it at a time where people can get there. Yeah. And nobody were there. Nobody turned up. It was just me. I was seeing cars pull in and drive out, and I'm thinking,
really?
Are they coming and bottling it? You know what I mean? Because it's only me here. And I rang my wife, and my wife's like, I'm like, look, no one's turned up. You know, I've tried to do my bit for community, you know, and she's like, what? And that's it.
Why do you think that is, by the way? Why do you think no one turned up?
I just think people, I think fear. I think it was a new thing. I think the draw, I think a few of them, well, I know they did, because they'd come after that and told me that they'd seen that there was no one there, just me, and then drove away.
Yeah, because you don't want to do the one-to-one
walk.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's like an empty restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like an empty restaurant. Whenever we see, oh, that looks good, and we look in, it's empty, we're like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go to the one that's busy. Yeah.
And then, so I rang my wife, she's like, so what are you going to do then? I'm like, well, I'm coming home. She's like, what, and you're going to give up that easy?
Yeah.
And I'm like, your wife's just call you out on your bullshit, though, straight away. And I'm like, no. So I just did a live video on Facebook, and I was like, right, guys, I'm here at 7 o'clock, agreed time.
Yeah.
And nobody's here.
Yeah.
Look, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I'm walking around the field. It's highly embarrassing, but I'm on my own. But guess what? I'll be here next week.
Yeah.
I'll be here week after. So don't let me be on my own next week.
Yeah.
I've got 30 guys the following week.
30?
30 guys all walking around the field.
Shit.
And it was like, I had Unstoppable hat on then. It took a photo of us all, and it was amazing. You know what I mean? But it was like, it got them guys, them group of guys were just needed to get out of the house, you know, but they are still like friends now, so they still go out together. Some of them. There was a couple of them that joined a gym, and you know, there was a big guy that could never get on a. He wanted to go on a roller coaster in America. He could never get on it. He went to America every year, and he was using the walking as exercise to lose a bit of weight. And he went to America and he made the weight to get on this roller coaster. So when you going back to when you say people, you feel that like when somebody achieves something, and it's like I did that. You know, I had a part in that. Not I did that. Sorry, because they did it. Sometimes you get an even bigger buzz than you do with your own stuff. Of course, yeah. I did a post the other day that was like to God, what was it? I'm lost in it. To help somebody else, to make yourself feel better, make somebody else feel better.
So I learned something from Peter Sage, which is most of us want to feel significant. So I'm like, the fastest way to feel significant is to raise somebody else's significant. Yeah, it is. And you're right though. If you feel like shit, one of the fastest ways to feel less like shit is make someone else feel great.
Yeah.
Can you know this, mate? We got the opportunity to be the best part of someone's fucking day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, you just send that message. Don't send it for you. Send it for them. Don't expect a response, but just sending that message will make you feel better. I remember where I learned this, 2016. I met Smith for a coffee, and it was the first time I'd met him in person.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd coached him before that. And James sent me, I was in London, he said, hey, do you want to meet for a coffee? I'd love to meet you for coffee. I was like, I'll meet you for coffee. And afterwards, he sent me a message that was just a thanks for all your help, and that I was like, fucking hell, that made me feel fucking 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all it took was a message. So that's why I'm like, listen, can we send a message today? To everyone, I'm like, can you send a message today? To help someone feel great, whatever it is. Because you never know where someone's at.
I use that all the time. I've used it with you.
Yeah. Like, so powerful.
It is so powerful. Like you did your comedy thing the other day, and I said, good luck with your comedy gig, Paul. Thanks a lot. You know what I mean? And I know that made you feel good.
It does.
And it creates opportunity.
Yeah.
It creates opportunity. It makes them feel good. There's no negatives to it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, there's not. You're right. The only negative is you worrying about what they might think.
Yeah.
But what's he after? Is he fucking gay?
Yeah.
Sorry, zesty's the new word for gay. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, zesty.
Zesty. Aye. Because remember, I don't remember if you remember. I can't believe I'm mentioning this, but remember, and it's mad that you used to get a gay with. When you used to see something you didn't like, you'd go gay.
Yeah,
that's gay.
That's gay.
It's mad that people used to say that in it, but now you say zesty.
Zesty.
Yeah, it's a little bit less offensive. That's zesty. Yeah, that is zesty. I'm learning all the new words, right? Do you know what rizzing is? Riz? Or riz her right up. It means you chat them up. That's what rizzing is. Oh, I'm chatting them up. Yeah, I didn't even know that happened anymore.
I'm like so far out of like context with that. I've been with my missus for since we were kids. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I've got an apprentice that sits in van on Tinder or whatever. I'm like,
what is that?
What even is that? Like, you not just go talk to her. Like,
I was talking to a lad at jiu-jitsu the other day and I hadn't seen him for ages. I was like, mate, you all right? He didn't look all right. He was like, oh, mate. He said, thanks for asking. He said, I split it with my last. I was like, oh, how long are you with her for? He's like 11 years. I said, so what you been doing? He's like, oh, just shagging birds. And I was like, fair play, and I was thinking, do you know what? If I split up with Leslie, I wouldn't know what to do. Because when I met her, I was 16, 17, and you used to have to go over and talk to girls in the bar. You don't have to do that anymore.
It's like lost, isn't it?
That's why there's so many young lads that are socially awkward. So many young lads. My son's one of them. He's getting better, but there's so many lads his age that are just socially awkward.
I think that whole generation are going to struggle further on down the line with this interaction.
I'll force them to say hello to people. Say hi to so-and-so.
I do it all the time. Like my kids think I know everybody. Do you know what I mean? They're just like, I'm all right. Yeah, you're right.
I get excited. Nina go, who's that? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, no idea. Like, just say hello. But I've been a part of their day, and it's weird. They're weird. Like 9 times out of 10, they look at you like,
what the fuck? What's this guy?
Yeah. You know, like
that's Stevie or the Coca-Cola man.
Yeah.
Or you get when we're on holiday and I say hola to everyone. Hola, buenos dias.
Yeah.
The kids fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Or I'll say when we're in the shops, I'll say thanks so much. Thank you so much. Instead of thanks. I'll say thank you so much. Have an amazing day.
Have an amazing day.
Oh, Nina's like, Dad.
Yeah.
Come, I can feel the cringe coming off her.
Yeah. Stevie's like says it in front of the person.
Oh,
like,
really?
Oh, mate, he's so brutally blunt.
There's one that they're saying now, which is like, Dad, Godzilla died of the cringe. I'm like, what? It doesn't even make sense. Yeah. So tell me about some of the other things that have happened for you since kind of getting your shit together.
So I've transformed my business into a business that I want to work in. You know, like I'm excited to go every day, like, and that's big.
Tell me a little bit more about that. How's that happened?
Because I've
now got a business. I say this to people all the time. You fall back. You can fall back in love with your business. How have you done that?
By by outsourcing the things that I don't like. Like, that is it. Like, that is the key, because I love
invoicing and that.
I love fitting a boiler. Yeah, like I've got it so that I literally.
I love fitting a boiler. I've never heard them words.
No, no, I do. It's what I set out to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing better for me than.
And that's why you start a business.
Yeah,
because
you do the thing
you
that
want to do the thing that you love,
Yeah.
and then so many people get taken away from that
you do.
because they think they have to.
Yeah,
and I keep saying you don't. I legit in my business pretty much talk.
Yeah,
pretty much. I write an email. I write a couple of social media posts, but the rest of it, not me.
and find the who.
Yeah,
that was a massive thing for who, not how.
Yeah,
and when you mix that, combine that with creating relationships with people, like they then become your who. You know what I mean? So like, I don't do technology. I'm not very good with technology, but I'll just like my business now. I get a job list on the morning. My materials are ordered for me, so I just drive into merchants, pick my materials up for that particular job on that day. I don't have to organise none of that.
Yeah,
like my quotes are sent out for me, invoices are sent out for me. I've got like automations that when you book a boiler quote, they get sent videos of this is going to happen next. That you did a training, CAF did a training. I'm thinking I've already got most of that in place. Like, so like they get a video what to expect when you get your boiler quote. Like it's stuff that other industries and sectors are doing, and the trades industry is just so far behind. It's like, we can do this easy, but all I needed to do was record the video. Yeah. Like, get the video recorded, step one. Stop looking at how I'm going to automate it and get all that. Have the file. You know what I mean? Because once you've got the file, it's like, I can send that in a text.
Yeah, I have people worrying about, I'm like, listen, Arthur, you know what would be great for your business? Doing like an audiobook, a real short audiobook. And they're like, well, how do I get on an Audible? I'm like, man, you've got no content yet. Forget about that part. Well, I'm like, it's just, to be fair, it's just an MP3 file. Yeah. That's all you need. Yeah. I'm like, you need to record the thing first, or at least have some bullet points. Don't worry about that. You mentioned it with your daughter. Yeah. Like, don't worry about that part. It doesn't fucking matter.
Just get
do the first part.
That done. And then eventually it'll just all come together. Like, and that's what's happened. So now it's like, I've got more time.
Isn't that mad? All Steve's done, and I say all because it's not easy, is build a business where he only does the things that fire him up. Yeah. That he loves doing. I mean, it is pretty cool that, because there's nothing worse than looking at your calendar and thinking, oh, fuck.
And do you know what's hard?
I've been like that loads of times. Oh, fuck, I have to do that. Yeah. Oh, I have to meet them.
There's none of that. And working for the marketing rights, so you're working for the people that you want to work for as well. So like now, I did bathrooms, boilers, outside taps, this,
outside taps. I love saying that to people. You still doing outside taps, you daft gun.
Yeah, but like I did all that, like anything. I've on my
take
website.
On any work.
Website listed be this long. Like I do this, and this.
Oh, so jack of all trades.
Yeah, jack of all trades, and then you're not a specialist. You're not a niche in a particular area. Yeah. And when you're doing that job, you're not doing something that you could be. You know, like, and sometimes like
when you say yes to one thing, you automatically say no to something else. Yeah. So I'm in this weird place in my career right now where it's annoying me that I'm having to turn down opportunities because I'm like, I'm already busy. Yeah, you know what I mean? So we're having a little rejig of my entire time right now because I haven't done the time audit for so long. Time audit, guys, if you're listening, it's Steeler done it where you basically record what you do every 30 minutes for like a week. Yeah. It's fucking dreadful to do. Yeah. But I'm like, I've said no to 3 opportunities in the last week, just this week. That was not including the week before where I'm like, I can't do it. Yeah. I got asked to join a mastermind. And it wasn't a mastermind that you had to pay for. It was a mastermind that you had to qualify for. Right. So it was anybody that was at a certain level. Those people come from all over Europe, 8 people. And I was like, I can't go.
Can't commit.
Yeah. And there's not many people would qualify to get in. It was like invite only, secretive. Yeah. And I was like, I got the message. I was like, oh, fucking hell. The other people were like people who I'd look up to. You want me in that? Also was in Milton Keynes, which was fucking fuck. But I had to say no. Because I was too busy. There's just, and it was doing me head. To be fair, they only give us 2-3 weeks notice. Yeah, and then. But I just hate saying no to opportunities because I'm at this place where I'm not too busy, but I'm like I can't do it.
Do you feel like
too full at capacity?
I mean, like I believe like creating opportunity is. I never used to do this. Yeah. So I never used to create opportunity. Like I went to I got invited. I do like socials, videos, all that kind of stuff to help other people, other engineers. I enjoy it because I'm helping somebody. Yeah. And I got invited to a football match, which is, I don't do football. I'm not a footballer. Son does, loves it. Do you know, I watch it for him.
Is that when he said it got beat 10-0 or something?
Yeah. So, but it was electricians versus Sparkies, and I'm not kidding. I turned up and I looked at Sparkies. I thought, No chance.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like Mario's, like honestly, all plumbers were just
Mario's.
Yeah,
Fucking hell,
it
I've
was
never
literally
heard that before.
like it was. I was just laughing when I got there, and I hadn't played football for. I weren't very good when I played.
Yeah.
But like I thought I'm doing it anyway. You know what I mean? I went there, Barnsley Stadium, looking like a tit. My son's like, "Dad, what are you doing? Like you're gonna?" It's streamed on all socials and all that. And it was properly done, like with commentators and all that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Really good. But well, it didn't because we lost 10-0.
Yeah.
But from that, like that little bit of embarrassment on a field, like I come out of there and I'm talking to these guys that are influencers in our industry. I'm creating opportunity. I went to one of the main influencers in our industry's house. Yeah. And we recorded a load of content. My apprentice got to experience that as well. You think he ain't lit up from that? You know, my boss took me here. You know, he's buzzing. So like, I wouldn't have got that opportunity. You know, if I hadn't put myself.
I usually say if you're in the room, but you were on the pitch.
I was on the pitch.
I mean, I always bang on about this. They're like, how do I get? People are saying to me, how do I get on this stage? And how do I meet them? I'm like, you've got to fucking get in the room.
Yeah,
it's mad the shit that opens up. Like I did this comedy thing. And there was people in the room that I didn't even know were there. Yeah. One of them is like, Paul, would you like to come and speak in this event in Hawaii? I was like, yeah. How many loads do I have to swallow together? But then it's like, oh, Paul, I've been offered I got offered 100 quid yesterday to go for me. And by the way, I've done comedy once. Yeah. I've never done it anywhere else. I was like, I said to one of the lads, he did the 90-day program. Dan, he's a comedian. I was like, what do I do next? He said, join this group. You'll have to do all these gigs for free. And I'm like, I've been offered money already. Yeah. And it's because I was in the fucking right room. But then again, it's like I've got Russell Kane critiquing me comedy. I've got Chris Ramsey giving me shout outs. And I'm like, but I met those people because I got in the fucking room. I said yes to things. But now I'm having to say no. It's annoying as fuck, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
It's annoying as fuck, like, man.
Sat here right now was a goal I set in the 28 days. I think like that's mad, isn't it?
It is.
Like, that's mad. This is me achieving my goal.
And guess what? If you're too busy, you would have to say no.
Yeah. If I didn't join that that's it. Yeah, exactly that.
You'd have to say, "Oh, Paul, I'd love to come on your podcast, but I can't do that date." Or, "Oh no, I'm too busy." Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So let's, for the listeners, particularly I think who are in the trade, talk to me then about. So the guys probably all know that they shouldn't be doing their own invoicing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're doing all that shit that you hate. In fact, here's a mad story for you. I have a house in Grimsby, right, that I've never seen. Yeah. And basically the estate agent withheld some money. I was like, what's this for? They're like, plastering. I was like, I haven't had any plastering done. They're like, oh, the plastering that you had done in 2022, they've just sent the invoice. And I was like, what? 2 years later, they've sent an invoice. Actually, just like, I'm not fucking paying it.
Yeah.
You've took the money once. They've actually took them. I'm like, how can you be so unorganized? Yeah. And I believe that actually being unorganized costs you a fortune because you can't be consistent. No. If you're losing potential clients, you're pissing off clients that you've already got because you're unorganized. You know these builders that go from one, they leave your job, they go and do another. Yeah. I'm like, just fucking get organized, man. You've left this fucking massive mess in my house. I always bang on about this, don't I? You've left this huge mess in my house. I'm like, where are you? Well, I'm doing this job. Finish mine, dickhead. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Run off to the next
I now pay a premium to Ian Lambert, who's going to be on the show soon because he's a mad cunt, inspirational guy.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm like, he doesn't do that. No. And I pay him way more than I pay any other builder because I want the job finished fast. Yeah. So people will. You said it at the start. People will pay a premium for speed.
Yeah, of course.
It's mad, isn't it? So tell me about how you go about that delegation process.
Find who can do that. So I've got a great guy that I met on another program I was in, and he answers phones, sends invoices specifically for tradesmen. So he answers phones, sends invoices, builds your quotes out. He's got all your pricing.
This guy could make a fortune, Mike.
He is making a fortune. He's doing really well.
But he only well in mine.
He only did that for electricians. So I met this guy in an electricians group. Yes. I was the only heating engineer, and the reason I joined it was I wanted to think more. I wanted to change it from look. All these guys are. That's where I met Matt.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so Matt was in that group. I won
Matt mentioned. Is it? Were you on the call yesterday when Matt mentioned he used to pay someone?
Yeah.
And then he stopped paying them because he thought he could do it on his own.
So that's the same guy.
Well, if you're listening, same guy. You're welcome. Because I said, Matt, I said you must go back there because, and mate, I must touch on this subject. It's really important, and you use them so you fucking get this. Yeah. Matt was like. He was like, oh, well, I pay them 6%. And eventually I thought, well, I could keep that money for myself. Yeah. And then I could see the light bulb go off in his head yesterday. I was like, well, how much time did they save you? He said 4 hours a week. And I said, on that 6% that you pay, how much do you think you pay them per hour? And he worked it out. He's like 32 quid.
Yeah.
And I said, and how much do you charge? He said, 80 quid an hour. I was like, so hang on, you're doing a job that's 32 quid an hour, right? In exchange for doing something, instead of doing something that's 80. And I could see this light bulb go off his head. He's like, oh, shit.
And when you think
thought
about
he was saving 32 quid, but it was actually costing him 48 quid.
And when you're a tradesman and you've got to get your laptop out, you've got to get your...
It's covered in fucking silicone.
Yeah. And you're lifting your screen up, and
is that just a hard thing?
It's timely, isn't it? We don't have an office sat at home. You know, like when you're at that level, you ain't got an office sat at home waiting that you can just walk into and print all your documents off and all this and all that. It's getting stuff out, and it's hassle. So them guys that are doing it are sat at a desk with a phone there, with the printer, ready to just post things out. So what would take me an hour and a half is taking them 10 minutes. So it's not 4 hours for them. It's 2 hours. You know what I mean? So like the time that it takes you is 3 times as long as it takes
it's
them.
the money thing that I think people struggle with. Well, why would I pay them when I can do it myself? A, you're not doing it yourself.
No.
B, when you do it, you do it late and you probably do it wrong. C, you're giving yourself more stress. But I think the last bit is it's time. Not money. So it's like it's costing you more. It's costing you more time than it costs them. But actually, when Matt realised it was costing him 48 quid an hour, he wasn't saving 32. He was losing 48.
Yeah, he was.
He was like, shit.
Yeah, shit. And he's back on board. He's rang him already.
I knew it. And I love that. He's coming in this afternoon.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
He's in. That's wild, isn't it? So you found someone that can do all that shit.
Can do all that side of it for me. Yeah. And they answer phones and control my diary. Yeah. So I don't control my own diary because I work very good at it. I'd organise. As somebody would ring, and while I'm on tools and I'm focused on a job and I'm working in somebody's boiler, my favourite quote is, and every tradesman who's listening will do this. Yeah. That you answer the phone and they'll say, I've got this job, I need you to do it. Yeah, I can do it Tuesday. Just bob us your details in a text and I'll get back to you when I get home. Yeah. And you get home and kids are playing and this and that, and you're tired. And you're tired and you miss it, and it's out of work hours, and then you know, and it's like,
mate, mad story.
So you went,
there's a heating engineer right now, said he was joining Alliance 2 weeks ago, still hasn't. Yeah. Right? And I'm messaging him saying, mate, you've just made something click for me. I'm like, mate, you said you would join. Yeah. I said, have you changed your mind? Ghosting me. Sent him a video. Ghosting me. Yeah. He's ghosting Donny. Now it's just made sense. Yeah, he's like, oh, fucking have a hard day today. Yeah. You're going to make me do more work when I join Alliance.
I'll get to it. Because it's never the intention that you go, I'm not going to ring that person back. Yes. Or I'm not going to message that guy back.
It's not about being rude.
It's not about being rude. It's about, I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it when I get back.
And then sometimes I think the part of you probably thinks, oh, it's more work.
Yeah.
You want the money, but you're like, oh, it's more fucking work.
More work. And
I think that's why some people don't want to grow the business.
Yeah. So I don't do that no more. Yeah. Like, if that thought enters my head to say them words, like, I don't organise my diary. Yeah. I don't book a job in. Yeah. That's not my job. Yeah. It's not my role. Yeah. The office will ring you back.
The office will ring you back. That's a flex.
Yeah.
But what's great about that is you're not employing these people.
No. So
you can probably stop doing that anytime you wanted to.
You're
not having to deal with PAYE. You're not having to deal with fucking employment law. You're not having to think, how the fuck can I sack this guy? Because I only learned last year that you can't just say, hey, didn't bother coming back.
Yeah.
You can't say that. No. I bet that happens in the trades all the time, mate. Don't bring your boots on Monday. Yeah. You don't need it. You don't need it. You come back. But I think in the trades though, there's a lot of subbies, right? Yeah. There's a lot of subbing. There's a lot of gentlemen's agreements.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily... I've got guys around me because when I set up and my background was new build. And then when you go into domestic markets, a whole different kettle of fish. I had no idea.
Well, you've seen my fucking pipes up there.
So
fucking hell.
I was like, well, what do I do here? So I just used my people skills. I'm like, look, who can help? So I'd make friends with guys. Instead of having flex and saying I'm really busy, I'd say I'm really quiet. Yeah. Don't suppose you could help me, could you, pal? Yeah. You know, like if I ever come across a problem, can I ring you? Yeah. And I made friends.
Or have you got any work that you can't do?
Yeah, just pass it my way. And there's no shame in that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, but blokes, you say to them, are you busy? It's like, yeah, I'm busy. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, mate, come on.
Mate, I catch myself saying that the first set. When someone asks how I am, I made a point not to do it this quarter. If someone asks how I am, my first response is busy. And I am busy. Yeah. But I think it always sounds like I'm complaining.
Yeah. But you're never on busy.
I'm like, I'm busy doing shit that I fucking love doing. Do you know what I mean? But when I say it, I'm like, I sound like I'm complaining here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really interesting,
it's
isn't
good,
it?
yeah. So I just like, now, the business is just, it's enjoyable to work for. You know what I mean? I'm like,
so are you still doing the marketing and that though, right?
Yeah, so I still do,
like that,
but I enjoy that side
yeah.
of it. Yeah,
yeah.
It's I don't believe that my business will ever be perfect. It'll never be that. You know, if it
is, you find a way to fuck it up. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I would. My business is perfect. In fact, it happened in 2020. Leslie said to me, "You're bored, aren't you?"
Yeah.
I was sitting in that Fritzl's basement, where all the t-shirts and that. That was my office. We didn't have the classroom upstairs, and she was going, "You're bored, aren't you?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You're looking for fights on the internet." She said, "You're bored." She said, "What do you need?" I said, "I'll get back to you." And I was like, "Right, I need to start a podcast."
Yeah.
Exciting, new,
and
I want a book deal. She's like, "All right, let's go after that then."
Yeah.
And I had the perfect business. Things were predictable.
Yeah.
They were on autopilot. I knew what was going to work and what wasn't. It was smooth. I basically needed to snap the end off. Yeah. I needed to, because I was looking for problems.
Yeah.
When there's no problems, you still look for them.
Yeah.
And it was just too certain for me. And I think business owners, we thrive in uncertainty.
Yeah.
You have to. And I can't remember who said it. I think it was Robbins might have said, the amount of success you have in your life is directly correlated to how much uncertainty you can comfortably handle. And I think as a business owner, you have to be okay with it.
Yeah, you do.
Do you know what I mean? When people are like, "Oh, Paul, how do I build this business whilst having my job?" I'm like, I can't answer your question. You've heard me say it. I can't, because I wouldn't do that. I can't do it. I can't do and that means you're basically craving certainty, which I get. If you've got a mortgage and that, just quitting your job and starting a business is very fucking risky. But that's what I would do. Because I'm like, I believe that every time I put myself on the line, every time I've burnt the boats, I pretty much took the island. If you've got one foot in the boat and one foot in the island, it's very difficult because
it's exactly what I did with when I walked in and threw my keys on the table and ate that 80 quid in bank. But it's difficult. It's not easy to do that.
You have to figure it out. When you back yourself into a corner, which again isn't for everyone, it's not my advice. When you back yourself into a corner, you have to fight your way out.
Yeah. There's no other way. It's got to work, and that's the only thing that
I like doing this all the time. I love that thing. Leslie's different to me.
Yeah.
Which is probably good because she's
my wife's exactly the same. Like she
risk
craves certainty. She needs to know. Like me, if
she wants more control.
I have no idea in my diary. If I don't know what jobs I've got tomorrow. I have no idea. I could be installing a boiler. I could have 5, but I have no idea. I don't check. I just get out of bed in the morning. I look at my thing and let's go. Like, I know I'm at work. I know that's what I'm doing. Whereas like my wife, she needs to know. She sits in bed looking at what she's doing the next day, planning the key numbers to get into people's out, all that kind of stuff. And I just don't. It just doesn't enter my brain. I'm just not bothered. Like, let's just go now.
This is mad. Leslie, when I did the comedy thing, she was terrified.
Was she?
Well, normally you got to consider when I do a keynote, she gets a little bit nervous about it going wrong or actually what I'm going to say.
But
obviously in comedy, you have fucking free reign.
Like,
I can't tell a nonce joke in a motivational talk. But in comedy, you can say whatever the fuck you want. I mean, people might not laugh. People might get offended. I'm okay with that. But then she was really nervous. But her way of getting over that is she makes me rehearse.
Right, okay.
So, Paul, rehearse it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that used to piss me off. I'm like, no, I don't need to. Are you saying I'm not very good?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's her way of feeling more in control, feeling more certainty, to have me practice. But actually, it's been one of the best things that's ever happened. Yeah. Because I can go in and it's not flawless. But it puts me in another level to the rest of the speakers.
Yeah.
I did a gig for a friend last Saturday. It was a small gig. It's for men's mental health. And I wouldn't normally do it because it was on a Saturday, but it's for a guy that's helped me out with some fitness stuff. Right next to where I train jiu-jitsu. I train jiu-jitsu straight after. It's on the same block. It's in the same place. And I was like, what time am I on tomorrow? I was like, he was like, you're on at 10:30. I was like, I've just finished rehearsing. He was like, rehearsing? I was like, aye. He's like, haven't you done this thousands of times? I was like, aye, but you get rusty. You miss things. And I liked it. And again, it's just, and that wouldn't have been something that I would entertain if it wasn't for Leslie's need for certainty. And it makes me so much more prepared. I'm prepared for what could go wrong, which I would never do before. Because that's a bit negative. I should only be looking at what could go right. But actually looking at what could go wrong means when it does,
you're prepared.
I've dealt with it already.
It makes you a good team, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you would never do that if it was just you. But you've got
and this is what it's like when you're employing people as well, Steve. Like, I think that, and in the trade, people employ their mates.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
which is a disaster. Not always a disaster, but you got to consider the mates with you because they're like you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 2 of you on the team now.
Yeah, which don't work. It's 2 opposites.
That is a fucking volcano meeting a tornado.
I always thought your first person you'd employ would be somebody on the tools to help you to
help you get off.
to by side, but you've got a team to build, and you ain't just you when you've got a business. You've got your website developer, designer. You've got your accountant. You've got Hayden who answers my phones in office. Yeah. I've got my apprentice. Do you know what I mean? And like the first employment that I made was another engineer.
Everyone does. Matt, that's what Matt wanted to do.
Yeah, and it went horrific. Yeah. Like I was trying to be, I had terrible leadership skills. I learned because I was trying to be his best mate. There was no targets. It was like, you just go do that job, pal, and I'll see you. And it ring me at 2. I ain't quite got it done, Steve, but I need to just nip off to whatever. It was like daily. I'm like, but then I didn't have balls to say, sort it out, mate, off you go. That's not okay. You know, I never set any rules.
But it seemed like it was the wrong hire anyway, right?
Wrong hire. He was a guy that struggled, and I felt sorry for him. He struggled with his mental health, and I thought I could fix him. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he had all his qualifications and stuff, but was open and honest with me. And I was like, well, if you can come and be this honest with me, he must be a nice guy. But then I bought him a van. Yeah. He was out on road on his own. Money just went to zero. It banked pretty much overnight.
Think about it, Steve, if you do that, you're going to get busier, which actually means more invoicing. Yeah. More quotes that you have to do, all the shit that you don't really like doing, all the invoicing, all the fucking payroll. You don't want to do that shit.
And that's the stuff that...
And we do it. You think you're doing it to be less busy. Yeah. But you actually end up more busy, but more busy doing the shit that you hate.
Yeah. And there's that worse. So, like, you think, like, I come to your house to send you a quote. Yeah. And I love that part of it. Love the speaking, the walking around, showing people, giving them knowledge. Look, have a look at that. This is what we fit. Yeah. And everything's all great. And you say, I'll send you your quote out within 24, 36, whatever that may be for you. And then you fuck up on that first promise. Yeah. That's relationship gone. You know what I mean? And like, so us as tradesmen that were good at hands-on stuff, and
I think a lot of people are used to that in the trade, though.
Yeah,
which is sad, really.
Which is sad, yeah. Which is why, like, it's easy to stand out as a trades business done right. Yeah. So easy, like all this automation with text. You imagine somebody
speed. You stand out with speed. Sometimes I'm like, we've got a couple of jobs that need doing in the house. I'm like, oh fuck it, I can't be asked to deal with.
Can't be asked to ring them because the guy will say, I'll message you. You know, you'll
or
get
they'll
that.
come and they'll be like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Or they'll take fucking 3 weeks to get back to me. I'm like, it's just hassle.
Yeah.
And there's surely the point in getting someone else in.
Yeah.
Is so that you don't have the hassle of doing it.
Well, exactly that. Yeah. And then you end up having to organise them, and it's like, so I tried to get rid of that.
Yeah, I was at 7 a.m. No, you fucking certainly cannot.
Yeah.
I'll come at 8 o'clock. What, when I'm right in the middle of getting my kids ready to go to fucking school?
Yeah.
It's a fucking World War IV.
Yeah.
It's World War IV in the house at 8:30 in.
Give them an option. Do you know what I mean? Like I've sort of delved into that, done like my customer journey and all that. What took, you know, but that's took time. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of tradesmen, what they do is they focus too much on 10 different areas at once. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're trying to get that right, and that right, instead of going, right, let's fix this.
Yes.
We'll fix this here.
And then we'll do the next thing.
We'll do the next thing. Yeah. And then we'll do the next thing and leave everything else as it is.
It's like putting out fires, but when you're doing all that, they never really go out.
No, they don't. You need to.
You just tap on them and you need to proper fucking smother it. And I think that one thing that I hear from trades guys, Steve, which is this is just the way it's done in the trade.
Yeah, which
you get a lot of that, don't you? Well, this is the way everyone does it.
Yeah, but until it's not. You know what I mean? Because there's people, the way the technology is going now, like everybody's 10 years ago, nobody had a website online as a trades company. Nobody.
No one wants to get on the phone these days either. So it's like, call this number. Yeah. Call this number and we'll get... who wants to call anyone?
Yeah, exactly. Have a form. Like,
just do it on an app or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's as easy, like I've got online booking that just books it straight in my diary, and I just turn up on the day. They get a text when I'm on my way. Like, all that stuff is really simple. Like, it's really simple to do and cheap. Yeah. Like, it don't cost a lot to have that software. Yeah. Just CRM system that sends them a text when you're on
the
your way.
guys probably don't even know it exists.
No, well, exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a guy. In fact, I'll give you an example right now. We're going to get some work done in the house. A woman came out, measured up, and now I've got the carpet company saying, oh, can I come out and measure up? Like, you already have.
Yeah.
Like, also, can I come out and measure up? And I'm like, I don't even know whether I want the carpet yet. I haven't even seen it. And you're gonna, just so you know, I don't want you to waste your time. They've already measured up. Oh, well, I want to do it myself. What? Before we install, I'm like, I was like, you're making this hard.
Yeah. It don't have to be that way.
Other people in is to make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, and people, I think people do just make it really difficult. Yeah. You know,
make it hard to pay them as well, man.
Yeah. Like you can. They're always blown away by my payment thing. Like I've got to QR code that they scan on the phone
Yeah.
and they can just pay via Apple Pay
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, how easy is that?
Yeah.
Or I can
I
send
need to
a
get fucking 800 quid cash out of the bank.
card machine that you have in van. I bought a card
I
machine.
mean, I get why you would want cash.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things I love working with tradesmen is because they tend to pay cash.
Yeah.
So I like getting cash, and I get it, but actually, that means that I have to go to the fucking bank and stand in a fucking queue. And the banks are open between like 11 and 3.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Banks are shit.
There's going to be no bank.
You can only get 400 quid out of the cash point, so I have to go to fucking 2 different ones.
Yeah. It's a nightmare.
Mad.
It is, but it's just, I don't know. But that hadn't happened. Like, it hadn't just gone, Steve's got this perfect business. There's still areas of my business that I'm like, yeah, that needs work. Do you know what I mean? Like, marketing being one of them. Like, I've built this machine, and I need to get nailed down on. You need to fit that.
I think you built a mincer, and you've got to get the meat in the top.
Yeah.
You've got to get more meat in the top.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not. I'm a tradesman. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's all new to me is learning that kind of stuff. So it will come. You know, I'm excited for it.
That is fun. That part.
Yeah,
that is fun, particularly when you've got an attitude like yours, which is I don't have to do it the way that everyone else does.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably shouldn't do it the way that everyone else does.
Exactly.
You mentioned at the start of the marketplace thing, like just because everyone else goes in there doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. People say, oh, Paul, you should have a free Facebook group. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Like, just do it your own way. Like,
especially with this podcast that I'm doing now, everyone's like, oh, you have to have celebrities on with a big following. I'm like, well, actually, what if I just interviewed normal blokes who are doing cool fucking shit so that the listener can actually resonate with it?
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, oh, well, people like the celebrity interviews, but they're like, well, I'm not an influencer. I'm not a celebrity. I can't. It's quite entertaining. It's interesting, but I can't take anything from that because I'm not a celebrity.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about interviewing normal fucking blokes. It's a lot of fucking fun. Steve, what would you say to anybody, or who would you say Alliance is perfect for?
Any male married guy that's struggling, like that thinks. Probably somebody that's for me it was coasting. For me it was just like day to day.
Going through the motions,
getting up, you know, Monday to Friday. Can't wait for the weekend
and that's
to piss it up wall.
People don't join the program sometimes because they think it's going to be hard work. They think it's going to be tiring when they're already tired. I'm like, but going round in circles is just as tiring, if not more tiring, because you're not seeing any progress.
Yeah, and when you start seeing the progress and marking that, I did a call few weeks ago from what you did. It was like that 11 o'clock call. I went in a breakout room.
Oh shit! I was surprised to see you on that because that was full of new people.
But I never knew. I had no idea. I just got invited. I thought I'll go.
Yeah.
So I'm in this breakout room with these guys, and I could tell that they were all early on in the journey. So they were on about the strategic confidence. You call it the wins basically. I call it, and they were like, I can only ever find one, and I'm like, I find 5 every day.
Sometimes it is difficult.
It's difficult, but you can find them. Like there's always 5 wins in your day, no matter how small. Just look a little bit harder. Did you open a door for somebody at the shop? Like, did you get your stuff ready for gym tomorrow?
Did someone give you a compliment?
Yeah. Did that make you feel good? Did this? And I'm telling the guys, like, look, the more wins you have, the better it'll make you feel. The more prepared, and then you'll start looking for more wins. And if you're actively looking, you feel better. Like
you're training your brain.
You're training your brain.
Training your fucking brain. That's why I still do it on a holiday.
Yeah, because I do it on holiday as well. Because
otherwise, you come back thinking, "Oh, I had a great holiday." But actually, when you write those little
things down,
I seen a thing the other day, you know, right? And I love this quote. It's a bit cheesy and it's a bit out there and a bit fucking manifesty, right? Is this? They're saying it was basically a word called glimmers. Yeah. And glimmers, people look for triggers. They're looking to be triggered. Yeah. Glimmers are looking for these little rays in your day that just bring a little bit of sunshine. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's what glimmers are. Just what were the glimmers in your day today? What were the glimmers on your holiday? So when people come here and they say, "Oh, what was your win? I had a great holiday," I'm like, "What was the best part?" Name 3 things that were amazing about that holiday. Yeah. Well, we did this, and his face when we did that, and when we laughed in the back of the taxi, and the taxi driver thought we're fucking mental. That actually happens a lot in our family. When we're in a foreign car in a foreign country, someone will say something will be fucking creased. The taxi driver's like, who the fuck are these?
Yeah, but I think that is where, because we always chase this big thing.
Yeah,
always off after this big thing, and you get to that moment in time. Yeah. It's always a moment in time when you get there, and when you do eventually get there, it's like, I don't really feel any different.
Yeah, it didn't feel like I thought it would.
But if you're celebrating every single little win along the way, you're feeling great every day, and then you get there and you're feeling great anyway. Like, so it's, and
it's something that people just don't do, and it's simple, you know.
Yeah.
It's so simple. I'm like, if you start with one thing with journaling, start by writing. This is how I started.
Yeah.
Inside of, inside of a strategic coach. They called it positive focus. Just putting your focus on positive things. And it was 3 wins a day. That was it.
Yeah.
I went to 5.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, let's try harder, let's look harder. Something I learned from DeMartini is that if you set a number, you'll stick to the number. You'll not go for more. But when I couldn't fit any more than 5 in the thing, to be fair. But I'll go for 5. And then you do have to look a little bit harder, but you're training your brain to look for what's good.
Yeah.
To look for what's working, to look for the positive, to look for upsides, to look for glimmers. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, that is one of the greatest things that I've ever done.
Yeah. It is me, because and then your peers, the people around you that at first when you start doing it, are like, this is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Are like, God, he's full of energy. He's happy all the time. Like, what have you had?
Yeah, he's excited. He's confident.
He's confident.
He's a bit weirdly confident.
Yeah, exactly. And then you notice you're that guy. Like, I get stopped now, like in my local town, like, and like, so somebody petrol station yesterday was like, "Oh, I've seen you walk and talk thing. Like, how are you doing?" Do you know? And it's like, you've brightened up her day. Like, I've done nothing, but she's noticed me.
It's class that people are recognising it.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it happens to me. The kids love it. We call it getting Paul Morted. We got where were the other? We were somewhere mental the other week, and Max was like, "Oh, guess what, Mum? Dad got Paul Morted again." It was somewhere fucking random as fuck. And
it's funny because it's almost.
Oh, it was an MMA. It was in an MMA show. Got Paul Morted. Aye, mad.
It's crazy. So, like, you're going to get to a level where, obviously, the more this builds, the bigger you're going to get Paul Morton, isn't it?
I love it, mate.
One of them.
People, in fact, someone messaged last week saying, "Oh, I seen you in the water park in Dubai, but you're with your family." I'm like, "Oh, mate, don't worry about it. They love it as well." Nina loves it. Nina will just we'll be having a conversation. Nina will just jump in, and you never guess what my dad did. Just jumps into conversations.
Right.
And I want to tell her to shut up, but at the same time, it's a weird thing with kids. You almost like, Nina, shut up. Stop needing to be the centre of attention. But A, she gets that off me. B, I'm like, is it a bad thing?
Nah.
Is it a bad thing that she'll join in a conversation with someone she doesn't know? Mate, when I'm on holiday, she was telling Russell Keane jokes.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? He's a fucking world-class comedian. She was like, "Russell, I've got a joke for you."
And Russell will probably love that.
Oh, he laughed at it. He laughed at it. It was something to do with the guy that invented the hokey cokey. They couldn't get him in his coffin.
Right.
When he died, because every time he put his right foot in, he took his left foot out. And he was laughing at it. I was like, "Did you just make that up?" She was like, "I did. I don't know how true it was."
Yeah.
But she was like, "Yeah, Dad, I made it up." I was like, "Wow, unbelievable." Stephen Thompson, it has been a fucking blast, my man. Where can I find out more about what you're doing? Where can the guys check out what you're doing?
The Boiler Dr. York on all of them are social. So I'm at Boiler Dr. York on Instagram.
What's your favourite platform, Facebook or Insta?
Facebook for work. I don't really use it. I'm just across both, but I do TikTok as well. TikTok.
Oh shit, really?
Dr. York, yeah.
And how does that work? Does that do anything
not for work? So it's more for me personally. That's more just to build my ego. Just build my ego. But like, just to help others, engineers. So like, I do a lot of like how-tos, how to do this. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, because I've built this thing.
Yeah.
Like, and it
and
was
if you
like
enjoy being on video,
and I like that.
Apparently, I've got a TikTok account actually.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Connor posts all the videos, but I was on there for a week, and I was like, "This is full of cunts."
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's full of fucking 10-year-old boys slating people.
It used to really get to me, did that? Like, because people would just comment stupid, and it used to just do me head in.
Yeah.
But I just call them out. Like, I just answer.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Yeah, exactly that. Like, and it used to really trigger me and get to me, but now I'm like,
the reason I don't like doing it on TikTok is because all them accounts are anonymous as fuck.
Yeah, they are.
They're all anonymous.
Yeah.
Now Max will go, "Dad, you never guess what someone said about you on TikTok." I'm like, "You don't need to tell us. It's fine."
But that created the football opportunity. That was
really?
So I got through TikTok and the following on there. I got that.
Sometimes see these tradesmen doing dances on TikTok.
Yeah, so I'm not a dancer.
Because they'll they're the type of Alima will do videos about them. Have you seen? You know Paul Alima?
I don't know.
Paul Alima's my friend. He's basically he's an influencer, but he makes skits.
Oh, I have. Was he on a
black Irish guy, big fuck, Irish as fuck. And Irish as fuck. But Paul, he'll see builders doing these TikTok videos, and then he'll make things saying he's got one where he has a dressing gown on and like his hair thingy.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he go, "Lads, can you just finish the fucking job?"
Yeah.
It's class. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the Boiler Dr. York.
That's it, man.
Let's fucking go. I love it, brother.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, mate.